Good evening, Trump's family. Welcome back to my channel. Have a good night, everyone, and God bless you. God bless America. Alright, let's get into the news. And absolutely love Lauren Boebert. She doesn't ever hold anything back. I'm very glad that she won her election in Colorado, even though they tried to influence that as much as they could. And fortunately for us, they were unable to accomplish that. They're in her district. Well, while she had some time on the floor this week and on the U.S. House Representatives floor, she told Nancy Pelosi to her face that she was fired by the American people, because the American people were tired of one-party rule, absolutely based individual that March, or that Marjorie Taylor Greene, that Lauren Barber is in the Republican Party. So let's get to take a look over here. Coming to us from the Gateway Pundit with this video says, ban the speaker, the American people have spoken. They fired you, U.S. House Representative Lorber, to corrupt Nancy Pelosi face. Absolutely. Let's take a listen to how this went down. Everyone listen to this. Madam Speaker, the American people have spoken. They have fired you, and I've chosen to end the Democrats' one-party rule throughout our government. The days of this chamber being treated as Pelosi as House instead of the People's House are over. The American people will once again be allowed into this chamber to see their representatives at work. Republicans made a lot of Republican promises on the campaign trail. It's time we make good on those promises. We must defund the 87,000 IRS agents that the Democrats hired, increased domestic energy production, get to the bottom of Hunter Biden's corruption. And of course, the big guy who's at least compromised by 10% reinstates the servicemen and women who are shamefully discharged because they refuse to take the COVID vaccine, reduce government spending and curb inflation, secure the southern border at which there is a complete invasion, and reduce the flow of China's fentanyl into our communities. Republicans across America ran on these policies. God help us if we fail to deliver on them. Okay, folks, Lauren Boebert coming in with the big guns, telling Nancy Pelosi to her face that the American people have fired her, and now she can probably go have more time to check on her husband, and make sure he doesn't end up in a more gay romps with hammers that will be flying. Alright, on Friday, when Twitter dropped the first Twitter files showing all of the cover-up, they did have the Hunter Biden laptop. They also did this. And the Twitter not only dropped the first Twitter files Friday, in the last 24 hours they removed 44,000 child exploitation material profiles, 44,000 in one day sexual exploitation material profiles of children on Twitter. This is absolutely great news. They took it, they got rid of it. They took it off of the platform. 44,000 predators and materials and profiles were to ensue, and 44 and 24 hours to remove that amount. It used to take Twitter 1 month. Elon Musk is not only fighting for free speech, he's fighting to protect our children from predators and from predators accessing kiddo smart on the platform. Elon Musk is doing a good job, a great job at Twitter. And it's not just about free speech. Tell that to your leftist Marxists crying hate free speech, family, friends, neighbors, co-workers, colleagues and classmates. The corporate media narrative for the last week has been that Elon Musk fired most of Twitter's child safety team and was running on a skeleton crew. Skeleton crew content moderation around the issues of child exploitation has gotten better under Elon Musk, not worse. And now Twitter has the data to back it up. And so I was a little wrong. In one of the other episodes when I talked about, I mentioned this in the last episode, content moderation and free speech. The content moderation that they're referring to, that they is getting rid of this smart, so absolutely great stuff. By the way, President Trump holds a double-digit lead in a hypothetical 2024 Republican primary race. He beats DeSantis by double digits, almost, not quite, but close to twice as many votes as DeSantis. But this Zogby Analytics survey also shows the DeSantis report has increased exponentially since May. So he's gone from 12% to 28%. And President Trump is at almost 50%. So now he's cutting into his lead. Just for the record, if President Trump runs in 2024, he is running in 2024. He already announced it. Therefore, we are, just so you don't get it twisted, we are on the Trump train. We are MAGA, Gianna. We are in America First General. That is why we get hammered. And that's why we get all kinds of attacks and issues and injustices. But we're not going to change. We're not jumping on the DeSantis thing. He's a great, great governor. No one can deny that absolutely fantastic job he's doing there. He is more palatable to the people in the middle, We understand that President Trump has a bone to pick, and he's going to take on the deep state in a way that DeSantis never won't. If he immediately goes in, he may do that in 2028. Continuing whatever President Trump doesn't finish between 2024 and 2029, when DeSantis goes in 2029, folks, because people always ask me this, no, is 2028-2020 is the election, but he doesn't get sworn in until 2029. DeSantis keep doing great stuff for Florida. Your time will come, but it's not yet. Okay, by the way, Texas ordered the deployment of 10 M113 armored personnel carriers to the state's southern border. And this is in response to the federal government that's going to end Title 42 any day now. And it's going to have huge amounts of people rushing it. M113 armored personnel carriers at the border is going to be a deterrent. Alright. Before we get into these questions we need to answer, let's talk about House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, who has issued a stark warning if he's not selected as Speaker of the U.S. House. We're also going to see, I'm going to also share with you some comments from Don Jr. Correct. Current House, I should say, Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy is warning House Republicans get in line and support his bid for Speaker. Having a challenge on the floor is never going to be positive. And if you turn the floor over, the Democrats will get, this is very fragile, that we are the only stopgap for this Biden administration. And if we don't do this, right, the Democrats can take the majority. If we play games on the floor, the Democrats can end up picking who the Speaker is. We need to do this for the American people. We either are successful together or we will fail individually, and we will not be given the possibility or the opportunity to be in the majority again. So at least 5 House Republicans say as of now they won't support McCarthy's leadership bid. So now what is next? Okay folks, let's discuss this. It's gonna happen. One thing that we must remember, and we are Trump train again on here, so don't get it twisted. I actually volunteered on the Trump campaign in 2016. So I'm not a Johnny-come-lately. I saw then candidate Trump in 2016, in San Diego at the convention center, got off work early, picked up my son. We went down there, we saw President Trump and we're like, yes, we're on the Trump train. I liked what he was saying. But I want to feel them out. I wanted to get that vibe that this was some kind of publicity stunt if you're just dipping his toe again, or if he was really running this time, and he was really running. Okay. And then that was, I don't know, March or April of 2016. I've been on the Trump train since. My wife, who is a Mexican born. And she's an immigrant to this country. She is a naturalized U.S. citizen. She was the first one on the Trump train. And she didn't fall for that garbage. Oh, he's racist, because he said that rapists come from Mexico. He's like, a lot of criminals come from Mexico. Like that's like, the only offended, like, they made a big deal out of nothing. Okay. So we're on the Trump train here. I don't like McCarthy. He's a swamp creature. President Trump has endorsed him to be Speaker of the House. And he, and you heard, was saying there that if we play games, now, here's why he's going to be Speaker of the House. First of all, President Trump has endorsed him. So Andy Biggs, Bob Good, Matt Gaetz, Matt Rosendale, Ralph Norman, are all going to get a call from President Trump. They're gonna say, you know, right before say, look, I'm going to read, the president's gonna tell them, look, I'm going to rein in and work with McCarthy. We're going to keep him MAGA. We're going to keep him in line. Go ahead and vote for him. And for the record, he's doing it. Another reason why he's going to be, if we go historically, he has more. He had more votes when they voted for him at the party level than Paul Ryan did. And let's not forget, Paul Ryan had national prominence because he was went from relative obscurity to the national stage. When swamp creature Mitt Romney picked swamp creature, Paul Ryan, to be his running mate. And even with all of that, when he was running for the Speaker of the House, he got less votes in 2015. Going into the, like McCarthy, they just voted for him. He got more votes from the Republicans to be Speaker of the House among the Republicans than Paul Ryan did back in 2015. Putting it in perspective and historical perspective. We have Jim Banks saying that voters would be immediately betrayed at the GOP worked with Democrats to oppose Markey McCarthy's speakership. So McCarthy is pretty much saying, look, it's me, or you're going to empower the people who don't want me will have to work the Democrats to get someone who's been on the road. And he is saying that he is going to be MAGA, he's neck. Maybe not using that word America, but he's saying it's the MAGA mission, the MAGA agenda that he's going to work on. So we're going to have some palace intrigue, but I think President Trump, because he's endorsing McCarthy, is going to coalesce and get support from these current people who are not happy, like Andy Biggs and Matt Gaetz, who Matt Gaetz is obviously a friend of President Trump and a supporter. He'll come around when President Trump gives him the call and say, hey, look, let's not divide the party, back McCarthy. We're hearing that from Don Jr., who's called out Republicans who are against his dad's choice for the next Speaker of the House. He says it is in fact, quote, in effect empowering those who impeach Donald Trump. Trump Jr.'s remarks come amid concerns from top conservatives about a doomsday scenario where House Democrats would undercut GOP power by working with certain Republicans to oppose McCarthy and install a more moderate speaker. Okay. And here's where I read this. Although McCarthy overcame a challenge from Representative Andy Biggs and received the House Republican nomination for the Speaker of the House by a margin of 188 to 31 votes. That is more than that 188 to 31. From the House Republican nomination is more than Paul Ryan got back in 2015. They're impressive, according to political analysts, so it wasn't really contested even with those holdouts. That's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. If you're up for it, I'm gonna get back to work. Thanks for watching, and I will